Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com. And
Josh Lamage, writer for the Coalition.
And we are back, people. We are back. Chief of War, Season 1, Episode 5, The Race to the Gods. Was it The Race of the Gods?
Of the Gods.
God, look at that. Gosh, I full-barred it again. But anyway, this is it. This was a crazy race. Again, people that are from the island, is this a thing that still happens with the racing on the sleds and off the side of a mountain into the ocean? Bananas. I've never seen something like that. I love the cinematography. The whole scene was amazing, just the way they pulled that off. But
yeah, that
just
was
jumping ahead.
That was sick. That looks super dangerous.
Super dangerous. I mentioned when we were watching it, I'm like, oh, his knees are probably rubbing against it. Rocks are probably popping up. Ugh.
Reminds me of my childhood when I would like fall off a bike or something, but like times 10, just like scraping against the rocks and stuff.
It's that looked crazy, but yeah. Oh, real quick housekeeping. Oh, we're just jumping ahead because that was amazing. That just stuck in our heads. But hey, everybody, thanks again for sticking with us. We're almost done, right? We're like halfway through this. Or is it 8 episodes or 10? I'm already blanking on it. But yeah, no, this so far has been great. Everybody's jumping in, commenting, just discussing it amongst themselves with the show. Some people finding some inaccuracies, right? We had one person bring up some good points regarding the king, and he was like, hey, this is not how this panned out. There was a brother, and the brother is the one that got all the power. This guy did pretty much nothing, but yet this is who they put in that role.
I wonder why.
Yeah, wonder why also. Because that's one of the things I brought up. I was like, well, maybe there's different interpretations. Maybe there's another document that says, hey, no, it was the brother who actually ran the show over here and caused all these problems. But who knows? But we already know, and we confirmed the whole thing with Kayana. The way he got on the ship, according to records, he just walked on. The merchant showed up. He talked to them. He says, hey, can I come? Yeah, all right. And then he gets on, and that explained all the tribal gear they still had with him. And they showed that in the last episode. Well, was it the last episode or the episode before the last one where he showed up walking around?
I'd like to know more about like the record keepers, like who was there, like really documenting all of this.
Yeah, that's always the tricky part, right? Who are the truth tellers in all of this?
Like, was John Young?
He did a lot. And that's a lot of the records are from John Young's perspective. Of course, there's some others. It was visitors. We know the whole thing with James Cook, and he kept good records also, and his crew. But how much of it is 100% accurate? We don't know. But doesn't that apply to everything in history? Right? It's like,
no.
Do we really know? Do we really know the truth?
Seriously.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So
let's do it.
Interesting episode. We start off with Kamehameha teaching the kids some stuff about this plant called the taro.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he was telling them about the whole process of people and how we come from the soil and growth. I mean, this is a great teaching moment. I'm still a little bit confused on how the show is portraying Kamehameha, because when we first get introduced to him, he's Mr. Badass with the stone and the ocean. I was like, the breathing.
I was like, oh, he's a warrior. Like
he's a warrior. He's like, he is the war chief. He's got the god of war, all that stuff. But then in this episode here, we see that he's also teaching the kids. He's involved. I pinged him from the last episode as a man of few words. That
but that's the stereotype here. Brolic dude seems like he's just a warrior, but he's a cultivator of plants and agriculture, and he's pretty smart. It's kind of a
damn.
It's kind of a flip on his character, which surprised a lot of people. But
I'm sure, especially when he gets into the whole thing with Kayana, when they start talking at the beachside, and I was not expecting. He went deep on him with all of this about the council and this. I'm like, wow, really? You think about it? I don't know. And I'm not trying to really judge him, but it's just the way the show portrayed him. The first introduction, Mr. Badass.
He
That's
seemed
how
very
I saw it.
quiet in the first and very like he's just gonna kind of do what he wants to do kind of thing. But this was nice. Yeah. So he's basically describing to this plant to the kids, and he could tell that by the root of the plant, how good the plant will be, and how just like the people themselves, like the more plants, the I guess the plant is like the parent, and the bottom root of it is like the child, right?
Yeah, he was making a really cool description of how the process of life and their roles and how we grow as people.
Yes, yeah.
It was deep, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not expecting this. Did they really get that deep? And when they would have their discussions, maybe that is how
I
they
would think so.
described
That's a good
life.
lesson for children to learn. He said it was Ohana talking about how it's just like a family. They grow from this plan, and they grow together, and just he's using it as like an example for family, but also for peace and for like all these different things that that plan can represent. And
Well,
he describes it later.
are these all his kids?
I thought that at first.
Because
Yeah, I
that's
don't
because
know.
remember, but we're not seeing all the other wives. We know that he had multiple wives. We don't know which one, the latest one, the one that speaks English. Now I'm blanking on her name, but
Kamanu?
Kamano, yes, Kamano. There you go. We don't know which number wife she is, but there were multiple wives when she first joined into the family that she spoke with, and he talked about children, and we saw some children before. So, but then yeah, I don't know that maybe
There's
they
never
weren't
been
his
any
children.
like formal introduction to his kids, so it's hard to
No,
say.
no. Yeah,
But
and
but
that's the other thing. And other wives weren't even present. We just see
but
the
the kids
one.
in this
Come
episode all around seem to be very engaged and like wanting to learn and jumping around. Like even Kayana later on, we see a scene with the kids going
Yeah.
around him and stuff. So they're very receptive of learning new things. So
It's
the
definitely cool.
king Keoha, right,
Yeah.
is pissed about Kamehameha being the god of war, right? He's pissed about Kamehameha being the god of war, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and he's standing by like what it seems like a geyser, and it's just like the heated steam is hitting him, and there's a woman there singing, and there
Mhm.
seems to be a lot of music in this episode as well.
Oh, there was a lot of music. It was getting
Yeah,
me pumped. It was getting me pumped. There's something about it with the tribal sounds. I just think Sepultura, if anybody knows roots, but I know it's a different Brazil, but still, it was just awesome. A lot of music in here, a lot of people singing. Like you said, this lady was singing. You got Kayana's brother singing over at the ocean.
yeah, but it's interesting because there's a woman here. I'm not sure who she is. She seems like um, I don't even know if she's like some kind of spiritual person, but she was almost saying
Advisor.
like an advisor, a spiritual advisor, something to him. But she was saying a prayer almost to him, and saying that his God, our God is your God, and my God is mine, um, and basically just kind of like almost chanting over him in a way. And she was saying that maybe it's not a test from your father, maybe it's a test from the gods. And this is the gods is this whole big focus of this episode too,
Mhm,
the
mhm.
choices, right?
God's prophecy. Everything's with the prophecy. Kamehameha is with the prophecy. This guy's not sure about the whole thing, and he seems to constantly want to test himself. We saw it in the last episode where he punches out one of his teeth. Now he's doing the geyser thing. I mean, again, in the comments, is that a thing? I mean, this is a first for me to ever see any of this stuff. I've been out to Hawaii. I've seen some other footage of historical things, events, and things happening. I've never heard of that. Now, this geysers in the United States also, right? Yosemite, I think, has some geysers. I've never heard of anyone standing in front and just can't you
And it
do
just
that?
like burns your flesh off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm assuming that it's like super high.
But I
I
guess what
get
is
it.
this? He's like testing his strength,
Oh
his
yeah, yeah, yeah.
durability,
Oh
and
no,
also his
definitely.
just like his.
This is checking his machismo. That's he's definitely doing it. But I would think if you do something like that, you're doing this to in front of a large crowd or something, to present, show, look at my strength, my power. I can tolerate pain.
We talked about it while we were watching the episode, but I think it's a cool conversation to bring for this because at the end of the episode, and once we get into all that, I was like, "Wow, I hate this guy," and you were like, "Well, it's good that you hate him. They've made him the correct villain." And it's like, good thing you're not sympathizing with him. And then for a second there, I was like, well, how could I sympathize with him? It's like his father chose someone else over him. Now he has all this like resentment within himself, probably jealousy, all these like conflicted things. Was he always a jerk? Did this just exacerbate that?
I feel like this is from every story we've ever heard regarding any prince or second to get to or trying to get to the throne or to become the leader. It's always a conflict. We talked about with Gladiator, the whole thing with the king dying and the son wanting to take over and do all this stuff. Yeah, the Maximus part wasn't true, but it was a true story with this king and the prince and what he did and how he was just a horrible ruler.
But it's
This
like the
just
father in this situation, the father must have known at least. I mean, he still made him the king.
yeah,
So it's
but
like, but he's like so gun ho about strength, and that's the thing with him. He wanted the king, and he wanted the God of War title, which he's
sometimes the parents just look past some of the things and be like, you know what? When the time comes, my son will be ready and he'll know what to do. He'll wise up, he'll man up and do the right thing. And you don't expect him to catch a hissy fit like he's been doing with this whole Kamehameha situation. But hey, this is how it is with power. People want all the power.
Do you think that speaks to how he was raised, like how the king was raising him? Then?
No, 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 no. I mean, it could, but it's he's his own person. From what we saw earlier when his dad was alive, he wasn't talking that reckless in front of him.
Yeah.
He's very respectful. He's like, "Oh yeah, father, yeah, okay." And then as soon as he's gone, I'm the king, I'm the man. He's like, he's like, whoa, what's
His people are like, what's going on?
exactly the whole thing? And then even Kamehameha, when he's like, brother, he's like, "Oh, brother, how dare you call me that? We're not on the same level." It's like he just flipped the switch, like the power just triggered, and now he thinks he's king of the world.
So after this scene, we get the intro, and now we're on the boat again. Kayana and Tony are overlooking their guns, and we have some really cool audio.
Yeah, they're cleaning the guns, they're prepping the guns. He loves Kayana loves his guns, but then we get this.
Never talked about what you did for me in Zamboanga. Much obliged. Because I'll be under chain and whip by now. Want you to know I won't forget it. I won't. Ever.
That's deep. Because what that's telling me there is he got a brother for life. This guy, I have a feeling when a big battle happens, eventually will happen in this show, he's going to be right by his side.
Yeah, there has to be something more to his character, and obviously, this sets it up. This sets his loyalty to him. This also sets his loyalty to people of the outside world, and it also shows Kayana's like really acceptance of everything. There's a lot of moments in this episode or like the show where I wondered if they're obviously they're against the pale skins and certain things, but that's because of what entailed with that and the horrors I guess they saw. But it's interesting how accepting, at least in this representation of it, everyone, at least Kayana, is of the outside world.
And also because there was some comments before, it was like, oh, the show, the way they're pushing, they're going to portray all the white men as the devils and do that whole thing. It's not what's happening here. He's just discussing all different parts, because clearly he has the crew, the captain, he's the pale skin and he's helping him. There's others. They're not trying to say they're all evil, but he does see that they value things different, as opposed to how they see things with land and all this. It's more of like conquering, and they just have a different approach, and some of them are evil. He talked about it later on about like the cages and stuff, but he also mentioned people of all different shades and colors that he saw. So people need to know that it's not trying to point to one line. It's like, hey, no, the pale skins are all no. That is everything there, but
again, it's also historical perception. I mean, we can't erase that.
Yeah. Well, no, of course.
We're not trying to, obviously, like, the show's not trying to offend anybody. It's just, it would be probably more offensive if they painted it in a light where it wasn't accurately portraying some of the evils that were done during that time. And evils done by a lot of different cultures.
I mean, there's been slavery from every culture around the world.
So, but I mean, I like how Kayana doesn't say anything. He just like kind of looks at him and just like nods and smiles because his English has gotten so much better too, to
Oh,
like
yeah.
just understand what he was trying to get across.
I was looking
And
to
then
see if they were going to throw any more years. Did they say any how much time?
no,
No, right? They didn't say like another because
I
we
would say
have
a couple of
assumed
months
a couple of months.
because the way he's
Because
just like back in back in that place, like he doesn't, because he was like, oh, the other day, he didn't say it like that,
it's only because when they pulled up into that Spanish
Zamboanga.
port, yeah, it said like a year later or something like that. It took time. Now they could have made multiple stops because remember they were trying to gather supplies and they're merchants. They
Yeah,
were
they traveled
picking
a
up
lot.
things. Yeah. So maybe on the way back they just skipped all that and it's like, all right, we're just going straight back to the islands. But
Tony says something funny here. He's like, yo, you keep rubbing that gun, you're gonna get it pregnant. Like,
yeah, he gave a smirk. Kana gave a smirk like he got that joke.
yeah.
I was like, what? Oh, yes.
Like, yeah. All right.
Mm.
And then I believe her name is Vi. I'm so sorry if I
BAY? I thought it was
Vi,
BA. Yeah.
Vi,
Vi. Oh, yes.
Vi, like with a V.
Vi. Yes. Vi.
She's the
Oh,
merchant lady.
yeah.
I believe that's what she had. She had one name, and then she said you could call me this. So that's what I have written down in the notes. Correct us if we're completely wrong with this, but
No, no.
she offers kind of food. And it's the food from the ship. He eats it, and he's like, he spits it out. He like throws it. He's like, this is horrible.
I did find that funny because the kid, and it's like, what? You try to poison me, woman? And then like, just chuck her off the boat. It's okay.
And she looks at him. She's like, this would have gotten me in we would have gotten a lot of trouble back on the islands. Like,
yeah.
A royal man having, eating with a peasant, or I mean, not a peasant, but like a commoner woman.
Yeah, a common. But there was a lot that happened here. But the key part of this conversation is that we also find out that she had a family. She had a son that she left behind, and that she's looking forward to seeing him, and she's not sure how he's going to receive her and
Recognize her.
Yeah, that's
the show. I mean, then maybe she wasn't gone. I mean, like she was gone long, but like maybe it wasn't. I was thinking like the son would be someone way older. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Because I think that when she told the story of how she left, it made it seem almost like it was a spur of the moment. Like picture yourself in a car driving, and then next it's like, wait a minute, I just left town. Where am I? Oh man, I left the state, and you just keep going. And it sounded like that because she said she was out canoeing one day, and then she just kept going and left. And then next a ship picked her up, and
maybe she was upset about something and just
maybe something traumatic happened. Maybe we'll find out more. But
but I guess the kid, like,
it's tough
for the kid to even know who she is, and like, but also here she also brings up, which is also the the main point of this episode in a lot of ways, gods. And she's like, I feel that like men have always used the gods to tell me what to do, and it's never what I feel like the gods actually wanted me to do, but what the men felt that the gods wanted me to do.
Yeah, that's deep.
She has it like really, yeah. I like her commentary. I like how she views things like that, but it's like, damn. But yeah, again, this episode, a lot of people are fueled by what they feel the gods are telling them to do, what they feel like they're chosen to do. It's a big point of this episode. And Kayana kind of reverses everything later on because he's starting to realize that, look, I don't care about any of this. I don't care about prophecy. I don't care about this and that. I want to protect my people. And, that just keeps getting more deeper cemented in this episode.
That is true.
Oh, but also she goes, what's going to happen when we get back and things are different?
Oh, that was the best. Things are going to be exactly how they were. No, they're not, my friend. You've been gone a long time. She pointed out, you've been gone for a long time. She's also been gone for a long, but it's particularly him. And he's like, no, things will be exactly how they were. If that's the case, they weren't that good. Did he forget that they were chasing him and he went flying off a cliff with some other dude? I mean, it was rough. It was rough.
Could have been bad. He could have pulled back up and found Kalikili just dominating the entire place.
Yeah.
Everyone gone.
I mean, yeah.
Then well, speaking of this whole situation, then we skip to Kapoi. She's with Namage, and she gives her the necklace that she described the whole turtle story and their ancestors protecting her. Something very meaningful to her, and he gives it to him, and he's like, I'm never giving this back. And he's like, I've seen how you fight. Like it's amazing how you've survived this long. Like
Yeah,
I'm
that was
protecting you
funny.
now.
So, we saw that they embrace, and then we have to assume that they've consummated this relationship, right?
I think so. I
I
mean, it
think
looked pretty
so.
heated in the last
They made
episode.
it seem like it because
Unless they just made out
there
and
was
stopped.
because there was just a few other scenes, and they gave each other glances in this episode, but there was no like hugging, kissing, or any of that stuff. I don't know. I the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because maybe it hasn't gotten to that point. Because remember, she said she needed time. Maybe she still needs him. She just wants to take it slow. That's perfectly fine. She's dealing with the loss of her husband, so she thinks.
I think regardless, especially with how this culture is being perceived right now, I think he's attached regardless, and he's.
But we
loved
know
her.
they didn't get married. That we know for
Yeah,
sure. They
not
did
bragging
not
or
get married. They did not go that extra mile and take it there, because that was my fear. That it was like, well, not so much a fear, but I was like, oh well, this is gonna happen because
This is
Kana
our
just
son.
right. Kana shows up and he's like, I'm back. Where's my wife? Oh, we have a kid. Wait. Oh, what? Wait, what? The year? Wait, who's our kid? Who's the father? No. But yeah, it looks like they're just the way I see it taking so. But the other brother, what's it? Nahi.
Yeah.
Right. He knows what's going on here, but he's not saying much. He's not really getting involved. He was upset. We saw in the last episode, but then he sort of understands. Over a year has passed. That we do know. Over a year. But hey, it is what it is.
So they seem in the thralls of a budding love, but we know what's gonna happen soon. And then we skip to Kamanu's father. He's standing in like the royal council, I guess, like arch or pavilion, and one of the, I guess, guards or people in his council is like, "Where's Kamehameha? Where is he?" And they're like, "Oh, he's farming in the lands of his childhood." It's like, okay, we need him here, not his wife. Like, we need, like, what if Kayakili comes here and starts killing us? Like, then it's divided upon everybody, and it's their fault. There'll be multiple people's blood on their hands.
Well, it's true. I mean, the last we heard, it made it seem like war was inevitable. Like it was just going to happen soon. Like, get ready. It's coming. And he's out there farming. He's just, doing his thing. So
I guess that's like his way of like processing what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like everyone's just thinking like, oh, he's just out there just like chilling. Like he's really like that. That's like his thing. We all have that thing that like it's an activity, but it's also something that we let off steam, but we use it to contemplate other stuff. So I guess maybe that's his thing. But then I think we got some pretty good audio here.
Yeah. Here we go.
Kamehameha's ear. His words at the temple were not his words. They were yours.
I only encouraged the part of him he holds silent.
Do not steer him wrong.
You believe he is the one to lead us. Trust him to do that. Kamehameha acts from his own heart.
The heart is what leads men astray.
I think that's the answer to your question, actually. Why is he talking more in this episode? Why is he more assertive? Why is all these things coming out? Maybe Kamanu's
it's her influence. Yeah. And he sees it. He knows it. And he knew it. He knew that this would be a good match, and that he felt that his daughter becoming Kamehameha's wife would definitely be the one that stands out for a few reasons. Obviously, that's his daughter holding, but also she was working with Jong Young, learning English, doing that whole thing. She could pass on along to him. Looks like Kamehameha was cool with it and interested in learning it because he does speak English as well. So
I also like how she's kind of more involved now. Like in the beginning, she was so against the whole thing, and we've seen it in movies before where like someone is like forced to marry someone, and like no matter what, like they're still kind of like in opposition of the whole thing, even if they play along. Like it seems like she's really come to with her role and maybe somewhere deep down she does love him. It seems, or there's some kind of respect that she has for him.
Definitely a respect. I'm not sure, but then she sees he's a good man. From what we see, he seems like he's a good guy. He seems genuine. It doesn't seem like.
But do you feel like there's some like ulterior thing with him?
No. But I
He's a
see
great
this
guy.
situation almost like from Game of Thrones with Dany, and when she had to marry off to Jason Momoa. I forgot his character's name. Remember, he had his tribe.
Yeah,
And she was all upset about it, but then she was like, "Oh no, this is pretty cool."
Khal Drogo.
Yeah, that's it. And she was all cool with it. She loved it. And when he passed, she took over. She was like, "No, these are my people." She didn't run off. She was, and I think that's the situation here. At the time, she wasn't ready to do that. Remember, that was the whole thing she was talking about. I don't want to do this. I don't want to
can't leave
marry.
the cave.
I can't leave the cave. Really? Go and leave the cave. Are you kidding me? But also that conversation she had with John Young when he was like, things are pretty good for you right now. You
For
got to embrace.
For someone that was sheltered and raised in hiding, she's very observant of the surrounding things, which is really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of observant, we haven't seen the seer since that
Oh,
early episodes. I thought that was going to be a continuous, almost every episode. I was expecting to see her on the boat with Kayana. I was expecting to see her back on on the island, the trade post island. Maybe she was going to point to like trying to set the path. I don't know why. I figured she would just be everywhere. But no, I mean, the last time we saw her was on the beach when she told, So
John Young is overlooking the ocean and he sees a ship and he's like, "Oh," and he runs down. And yep, we see Kayana returning, which was pretty quick. I thought it would be.
I was not expecting
another episode or two.
Like again, this is different from history. From what I did some research on this, he spent years traveling around. He went to Asia and multiple other locations and areas before returning back. And that's not what we're seeing here. And they're not even mentioning that. So even if they did a jump, and then he can tell me, "Oh, I went to this land. I went to he's not saying any of that. It's just like from the port to get the guns and straight back."
Maybe if there's a season 2, he'll go to somewhere.
Well, I don't. Yeah, maybe he does leave. Not sure, but hey, it's still a show, and it's something I tell people in the comments. It's not a historical documentary of any type. Yeah, they have historical aspects to it, but
historical fiction in a way.
Yeah, historical fiction in a way. They're telling their own version of certain parts of it. Maybe some of these things aren't really, quote unquote, written in stone. So they're like, we could be a little loose with this. We can add this. We're trying to tell a certain story, and they want to just get from point A to point B and maybe cut out some of the middle parts that just drift, like all the traveling and stuff may be too much. But yeah, he shows up, and that was a shock to all of us regarding this.
I like when he comes out and the first thing he does is he kneels to the sand and like squeezes the sand in his hands, like how much he missed his home, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing that, but
I wish I had somewhere like that to go. I wish it was like some Santa. Well, we'll go to Coney Island and grab that dirty. I'll probably get stuck with a needle or something. Like, oh, my head. Why are they doing this? Piece of glass, a razor.
Home sweet home.
Right. But, it's like the Warriors. Don't you remember? That's what happened. In the movie The Warriors, they had the fight from the Bronx all the way back to Coney Island. They get to the beach, and then, they get to Stillwell, and then Swan looks out, and he's like, "This is what we fought all night to get back to? What's so special about this? This is a waste." But no, he definitely misses.
He appreciates home.
Oh yeah, I would appreciate it. It's beautiful.
Another thing, I guess like they see a giant ship approaching, so everyone comes out, but it's like how fast everyone is always looking at the ocean. Like, it's not like he showed up and just walked in and was like, "Hey, I'm here." Like, everyone, like, people are already running to the water.
Of course. News spread quick. They were like, a ship came in, right? And that was one of the moments we see his wife giving the glance to the brother, giving a little.
And what does he do? He takes off the necklace and like stores it in his waist.
Oh yeah, but that was once they get to the beach. Yeah, once they get to the beach. Yeah, that was a beach. So once he's there and everyone starts running up, they're all happy. We see the wife. She shows up. She couldn't believe it.
Oh yeah, they shared a look. Yeah, because the lady ran in and was like, there's a war chief. He's wearing Maui colors.
Yeah. They can't believe it. I mean, I thought she was gonna faint because they pretty much thought he was dead. He was gone. He fell off. The older brother, I want to say he's older brother, but he's not older. I don't think he is. Maybe he isn't.
Namake?
Then says he's Nahi.
Or
Yeah, Nahi.
Nahi.
Nahi, right? I don't know why. I guess he just looks like he's the older brother, but that may not be. But anyway, he was the only one pretty much that was like, hey, we didn't find a body. He could still be alive. He's still
He was
alive. Don't
hyped. He was like, when they said that someone was coming, he was like, yeah, it has to be him.
has to be
And
him.
obviously Namake is like, it's interesting. Just like, this is your own brother, but you can see like his face is so like, he just
yeah,
like he knows what it means, and it sucks at the
he
same
knows
time.
what it means. It sucks. But then yeah, there was that scene, and you could see even in the image in the background, like once she starts approaching him, that's when he's the camera. I love this camera work too, because they don't focus on it. He usually see him in the background just taking it off and putting it in his little pouch area. He's like, no, because he knows if Kayana sees that, it's gonna trigger. I'm assuming they're gonna keep this on the low and not mention it. There's others, and
Then why bring it up?
why bring what up?
Like, is it gonna come back in some way, or is
Oh,
it just
that's what I was
find
gonna
out?
say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
somebody else can bring it up. I don't think these two
there
that
we
were
go.
involved. I think somebody else might say something.
I think
'Cause-
that Namake is still going to be very standoffish with him, and Kayana, and one day Kayana is going to be like, "What is going on?" You know what I mean? Or something's going to blow up. Something's going to happen where
Oh,
this.
he's already getting that vibe.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
He's already getting the vibe.
Because bro's not acting aloof with it. Like he's showing it. He's
Yeah,
pissed.
he needs to. But it was fun. We'll get to that point. But I was just bringing it up because you're bringing this up. When you're like, oh, why is he walking into the ocean? I was like, he just needs. That's cooling off. That's like when they tell you go to showers. Go cool off. Hit the showers. Well, this is his shower. He's walking into the ocean, and who knows? He probably screamed in the water. Just angry. This is it. This is how you get it out. And then he did the prayer or the song at the sun. He just wants to move on from this, because I'm sure for this whole time he had it in his head that this was his new life. He was going to have this relationship, probably
He was
envision
excited. I mean,
kids.
in the scene before, they all seemed like they were kind of thriving.
Yeah.
But now she's hugging them, they're all embracing, and he reluctantly like joins them at the end. He's not upset, obviously, because this is his brother as well, but they're all
Of
holding
course.
each other. And then we see John Young reuniting with the crew, and everyone's like, "Whoa, you're back from the dead!" And he's like, "Look what the ocean has brought back
He
to
was
us."
getting some hugs too. I'm sure they all smelled horrible because they were on the ship for who knows how long.
But the chief goes up to Kayana and he's like, "Aren't you the one that helped Kayakili, take over Oahu?"
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing here? Like, he has it out for him. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I forget that they don't really know each other, because I was like, oh, I was hoping that he'd be hyped to see him, but he
wasn't there at the time.
Yeah,
he wasn't there at the time, but he heard about it.
And Kayana doesn't deny this. He's like, yeah, it was me, but like, I'm not gonna repent to anything. I'm just gonna ask, try to seek redemption with all of this. But then he was like, my men. He's like, why did you bring the Paleskins here? Are they here to trade? Like, what's going on? So, well, they brought me here to see my family, and it's been a lot of travel. May they rest here. And he was like, we'll figure that out, but they have to go back onto the boat.
Yeah, because their leader, their chief, is not there.
Yep.
Kamehameha, he's not around, so they're like, no, they can't stay here.
Then he notices Vi, and he's like, what is she doing here? And then he's like, we'll leave it to Kamehameha to decide whether a deserter deserves to be with us here.
I thought he was going to come up for some other excuse or say something else. They could easily just say that she's from one of the other islands and they found her and they rescued her or something. He didn't have to, you know what I mean? Why bring anything up?
He could see that she's dressed in like a pale skin.
He was also dressed. He was wearing pants. Remember, they cracked the jokes, which we'll get into later. That was funny, but he could have come up with something. It's like, hey, this is a new start. Don't worry about it. We'll say that you were part of some other tribe and something happened, or you were on a ship and they saved you. They rescued you.
Well, this scene that actually happens now. They're walking, and then one of his brother's like, well, why are you wearing this? Like, why are you covering your genitals? It's like foreign men hide their genitals and they cover their legs. And then he's like, how do women know the big fish from the little ones?
Yes. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh man, the big fish. Can you imagine that? You're a little fish walking around. You're gonna be the joke of the tribe. I mean, you're gonna be shamed. It's gonna be a hard life. It's
But
gonna
I
be a
wonder
hard
if it's
one.
more of an accepted thing where they don't put that. I mean, like obviously it's like a now like in art and culture now it's like a thing, but it's like if it's so frequent and not everyone's gonna be super hung, like is it gonna be like a
Then if that's the case, then this joke wouldn't be said
yeah,
in
okay,
this
then
time
yeah,
period.
you're right.
You know what I
Yeah, you're
mean? 'Cause they wouldn't have cracked this joke because that would be like, why? Wait, who measures that? That's not a thing. We don't do that. So
true, true,
who
true.
know? But he doesn't. He cracks the joke, which means that they're checking each other out. And I was like, oh, look at you! You got a pinky. You got to look
Jeez.
at look at you. You look at me. I'm hung like horse. Like, I mean, there's no horses here, but still. But it was
Like a what?
like exactly like a horse. But you know,
All right,
but
Kamanu is up on the top of the mountain. She sees Kayana walking, and she's like, "Whoa! Like this is that same guy from before. Like he's back. This is crazy." And Kayana walks and he has a whole squad of people around him. And yeah, this is Vi here. When she was
yeah,
approaching with the ship and stuff,
yeah,
she has
yeah.
a cool look on her, and she has like a horseshoe around her neck there.
Yeah. I'll save that for when she shows up at the
Speaking
town.
of a horse, but he takes out the gunpowder, puts it in his hand. He's like, "Watch this!" And he takes some fire, and it explodes. And he's like, all the kids are freaking out. And I like how the kids are like touching everything and stuff. They're like
Oh
really
yeah,
just
I mean
curious.
that's yeah.
And then they're like, "All right, get out of here!" Like kids go away, and the kids leave. And then his brother comes up to him, and he's like, the council uses the pale man's words to hide from spies. Now everyone speaks English pretty well.
Uh, and he told them they need to start using the English, the pale man's language. He was like, I know you know it. He was telling both the brothers, he was like, this is it. Let's start using it that way. And I guess it makes sense because that way, if they keep using it more frequently, they'll get better at it, and then they'll be able to understand what's going on.
Yeah,
Especially
but
if
they could
they,
also use it in secret ways. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So,
use it as a tool.
they're talking about like, oh, what if Kai Kelly? And then they're talking about how the island is divided and how Kamehameha is now the god of war, and how the other guy is basically the other king is pissed because he's not the god of war. I keep losing his name. Keoua.
Okay,
King Keoua, I guess we could call him a king, is fuming. So not only are we divided within the islands of everything with Kaikili, now this one island itself is divided
yeah.
amongst his people. And I think we got some audio from this.
We do, right?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we do.
With them, we came here to prepare them for war. They already prepare for war. Not the war that I will bring.
That's deep. And again, I was shocked that he shows up and with all that's going on. And yeah, he did the little with the gunpowder, but I thought he was gonna bring some guns, ashore and just like lift it up. And I was like, I have,
Oh, look what I have.
what was it called? The red eye weapon, I think it was called.
Red
The
mouth.
red mouth. That's it. I have the red mouth.
But we also see Namake here, and Namake is kind of like stone faced as well. And he's like, "Well, Kamehameha is our leader, the prophesized one. We have to stand behind him." And Kayana is like doesn't really know him either, so he's just like, well, "Okay, well, I'm not here for prophecies. Like, who is this guy?" And he's like, "And from what I could tell, you believe in him. Like, you've
Yeah.
seen something that you see in him."
We seen him do that stone thing in the ocean. I mean, that was pretty amazing. I think he held his breath for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, he was like, "We did not come here to live with them. We came here to prepare for war."
But then also, maybe they were witness of moving that stone on the ocean. Remember that whole thing that he talked about?
Yeah.
That he moved it, and that meant that he was a chosen one. But he said it was really like an earthquake or something that it shifted. The ground moved underneath him.
So then he goes to Kamana's father. I think his name is Keomuko.
Yeah, he's a council leader. He's the leader of the council because that was that whole thing there.
And he basically talks about how Kaikayakili is no king. He's a conqueror, even though because he brings up that like, oh, you followed a king before and you led to destruction. Like, why should I trust you? And he's like, no, he's no king. He's a conqueror. You know, he's worried about trusting Kayana, which I understand. But
Yeah.
then the guy, he's so like down bad for Kamehameha, and he's like, this is the fulfillment of the prophecy. We have to, stand by him. And Kayana is like, I've heard that before, and I watched Oahu fall, and the guy doesn't care. He looks at him and he's like, well, I'm chief of this council right now. Kamehameha is away, so you're wasting my time.
Doesn't even care. Doesn't want to hear it.
And
but
then we can bring that
yeah.
picture of Vi up.
Yeah, this is interesting. I thought we were going to get more with this, but we see that because she had parted ways with Khan and said, hey, I'm going to go visit my side of the family, see if I can find them. See a bunch of kids playing on the beach. At first I thought there was another kid. He was a little older, and I thought that was her son, because again, I don't know how long she's been away, but no, she makes eye contact with a little boy that looks a lot like my son. Yeah,
he looked like your son.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, my boy's in this show.
My boy.
That boy. And so she makes eye contact, and he recognizes her. He stops what he's doing and stares at her. And the way they film this with the sunlight behind, I'm sure he's thinking he's seeing an angel or something. Or it's like, no, that can't be her. So I was waiting for him to like rub his eyes.
At least they might have that kind of thing. And he's young enough that maybe it could grow into something.
Maybe, but he didn't smile. He saw her. Okay. He didn't smile, and he didn't go running off. And it's like, Ma, no. And we'll probably get more later. But this is it.
Keep playing.
This is the last we see of her in this episode. That was it.
So then we get Kayana with his brothers, and they're like, tell me of your journeys. And he's like, long time, brother. And Namake is walking away, and they're like, well, where are you going? He's like, I'm going to make an offering to the gods in honor of your return, Kayana. And he leaves, and you can just and then you see Kayana's face, like, okay, like
he's gonna offer himself up. He's like, I'm dead. He was like, oh, I can't believe this. But hey.
Then John Young shows up, and he's like, hey, Kamanu wants to speak with you. And then they have a little conversation. John Young is like, this island is these lands are amazing, and there's a lot of remarkable things, especially her. And he looks up at Kamano. Does he like her or something? Is that the deal, or does he have just a respect for her?
I think it's a respect. I think it's all about respect. She picked up the language. She, as we already determined and discussed, she has an open mind to a lot of things. She's a thinker. She's trying to figure things out. And as her dad said, it's like she is in a position that she can influence her husband, who is the chief over here. So I think he respects that, and that's it. I don't think there's any other motive, because he would die. They would put him under quick if he was to even step out of line. And why even bother doing that? I don't see that. I don't think that's a thing. I mean, I didn't read up the history of him too much. I know that he does link up with Kamehameha for years. He's like his confidant. He's alongside him. He teaches him all kinds of stuff of the pale skin ways and stuff. But I didn't find anything that said he had any relations with Kamehameha's, any of his wives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kayana has a conversation with Kaimanu, and they're basically just reuniting in conversation from last time. And she's like, I thought the outside world would find us again, but you found it first. And she's like, your family has made things a lot easier for me here, especially your wife.
I didn't even think about that.
Last man.
I really didn't think about that they work together in that way. I forgot all about
they
that.
Travel together today.
Yeah. That's right.
And she's like, well, tell me about your adventures. And he's like, well, the people, there's a lot of different colors. There's a lot of different types of people, the suffering, the evilness, but also there were, he said this line, which was really nice. He said, there's people, their skin beautifully touched by the sun. Their dark skin touched, black skin touched by the sun, something like that.
They love the sun. Yeah, the sun loves them. And it was it was very interesting. It was very.
But it comes with a warning. He says, cruel men with endless ships that will be coming soon, and we need a king that will face them. will not chase another prophesized king. And she's like, look, Kamehameha is him. Like, you need to meet with him, talk with him, and you'll see.
Yeah. And he's coming from a different world because remember, at this time, all these islands, they're feuding, they had their own battles. They don't consider anything in the outside world because they don't know anything about it. And he's already seen enough to know that there's some evil out there. These people will come and just try to gather all their resources, do all kinds of stuff. And he wants to prepare them. He wants to prepare everybody. And of course, that's why we even have this show, Chief of War.
The Kamehameha is
To unify
farming.
them.
His Kamehameha is farming. He's doing his thing, and he meets Kayana, and he's like, "Well, you don't seem like a foreigner. Like, well, what is this?" And they have this whole conversation, and it's almost the same thing. It's like your family has been kind to me. People have been respectful, so thank you for that. And they share mutual respects. You know, they're kind of gauging each other out. But then, I mean, I don't know if Kayana's meaning to be insulting here, but he's looking at him. He's like, I mean, everyone swears by you, but you don't look like a warrior. You look like a farmer.
I mean, farming it's hard work.
Yeah, it's
It
hard
is
work.
very hard.
Yeah.
So I don't take it as an insult. I think he just it's like I see you as a farmer. I see you as somebody who can farm and do other things, but I don't know if you know combat. If you're the
Like
type that just
tactical
want to go fight,
combat,
yeah. Because remember from the first episode, when he stormed the beach with his brothers and all those other soldiers, and they were just fighting farmers. Those guys didn't know how to fight,
Mhm.
and so they went through them like butter. And I think that's what he was trying to say here, but yeah, I don't think it was out of disrespect. I think he's just saying I don't see you in that role, and that's what I'm here for. He's
I
like,
like
I
how
want to do this.
I like again how he says like, look, I'm not here to follow any prophecies or prophesize kings or anything, but maybe I'm meant to follow a chief with the heart of a farmer.
Maybe.
And then again, back to gods. Kamehameha is like, well, you want to be in my council? The gods will decide your place. We're getting a sled race down the cliffside of a volcano. I was like, what?
Whoa.
I was like, whoa, where's this coming from?
That, yeah,
I
I wasn't expecting that because I was like, oh, so this is the race of the gods. That's where it comes from. He's like, well, you got to do this, right? And then he goes and he meets with the council leader, and he basically tells him he has to win this, or else
for a place in his council.
Yeah,
or he's not going to care about him.
Yeah, he's not going to care about him. He's like, you're done. You just go on your way. It's not going to matter. And I get that, but again, he's there with all these guns. So he's just going to get in the boat and leave. And I'm like, oh, don't you want to show him the guns? No point. No.
He doesn't want to talk to me.
He doesn't want to talk. Come on now.
Hey, at that point, I would just show up on the island with all the guns and be like, yo, we're doing this. I don't care. But then we cut to the new evil king. He's pissed again still about not being the god of war. And he's like, we will suffocate Keoua from all sides until they bring back the god of war. And his people are just like, yo, what? This is the first time that people are really talking back to him. Like, they're like, well, what if your father chose this for a reason? Like, what if you're not suitable to be?
Yeah, that's what he said. And I was like, I was expecting him to die right there. I was like, this guy's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill him. He
starts screaming. He's like, I'm the king of Hawaii,
Yeah. I was expecting him to say, you know what, and you don't deserve to live. And they anybody else would stand against me.
But
he was going nuts.
Maybe Kamehameha could lead the armies better than you can. And he also says, like, look, if you're against me, then you're an enemy of this kingdom. So he's flat out going crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, he says you're king. I get it, but I mean,
I don't think he's lasting long, though. They're wiping him out next episode or the following. Definitely.
Maybe. I mean, if people know the history, then they know who ends
something has to happen to him.
Yeah, we definitely
because we can't have he has to be like the intermediate bad guy, and then maybe the.
I mean, we still have the other big bad. We got the crazy uncle on the other island, who's building the army. Remember these guys? Yeah, they're over here feuding when they already have that they have to prepare for another army that's ready to.
That's what I'm saying. Either they wipe him out quick, or something happens. They have to nullify this quick.
You can't have this infighting. You can't have this infighting. It's a waste of time.
Something's gonna happen that unifies them pretty soon, and he's in the way of all that. Next we have Nahi talking to
To it.
what's her name?
Kayana's wife.
Kopoi. Yeah,
The boy.
Kopoi.
Yep.
And
She
he's like,
goes looking for the
yeah.
brother because she went looking for the brother.
But then she goes, "Have you seen Kayana?" He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on now. But he pretty much says, like, leave him alone, leave the dude alone, move on. You know, Ka'ana's back. Don't worry. The guy, he'll man up, you know, pretty much is what he
You'll
said.
do more
He'll be
damage to him
okay.
if you keep the flame going.
Yeah. Don't start encouraging that. And I don't think she was planning on doing that. I mean, from the reaction that she gave with Kayana's return and spending time with him.
She's happy to see him.
She's very happy. Yeah, it's not one of those. It's not like in Castaway. You remember in Castaway when Tom Hanks comes back?
Oh, so sad.
And she was like, "Oh, you were gone for so long." He said, "Yeah, but I'm back. Yeah, but I'm married. I have a kid. You know,
So
I'm sorry.
like,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah. It's not that situation.
That must suck.
That's
And
what
that probably
I'm saying.
happened so much throughout history, like with no
Oh,
connection.
what that constantly
Like think of
happen
all
because
of that.
for travel from all around, especially by boat and by sail, you're out there for months, years at a time. By the time you come back, kids are gone. Maybe your wife, everyone already moved.
It's like
It's
Interstellar on like a smaller scale. It's so sad.
it's crazy. It's a different time. The world was,
So then Kapoi is also talking with Kayana, and she's like, "Oh, what are Kamehameha's plans? Like, do you know?" And he doesn't even seem like he wants to talk about that. He's just staring at her. And then she's like, "Well, you've been gone so long. I'm sorry that you had to come home to all this." And then we see Nama get by the water, and for a second, you and I were like, "What's happening here?" He takes off his necklace. He walks to the water. I'm like, "No way, is bro just gonna swim into infinity right now?" Like,
just end it. Well, he said he was making an offering to the gods, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. He's offering himself." He's like, "I'm done. You know, you didn't want me to be happy. You took this away from me." So, but no, I think this is just like I said earlier, just to let off some steam. He probably started screaming underwater, you know, like, "Oh, you know," and just losing it. Yeah, he was angry. He was like, "Man, I had everything. I saw it all." And
what
it's
I didn't
gone.
expect for him is like when the new day came, and during the scene also, like Kayana and his wife are getting intimate. So it's like two
Oh yeah, they show him
different
both.
scenarios.
There's like, this is
But he starts singing when he comes back to the water, out of the water in the next, well, when the sun comes up, and he's singing about change. He's singing about, what I write here, like new beginnings, a new sun. So maybe he's willing to turn over a new leaf. At least that's what I thought. But then the following scene, they're heading up to the hill to do the cliff thing, and again, he's still kind of slightly salty with his brother. He's like,
he's
"Brother,
just,
like, aren't you happy that I'm back?" And nothing has changed right between us, and he just like doesn't say anything. It's just keep walking.
yeah, nothing's changed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot's changed. A lot's changed. But he needs to move on. He needs to let go. And even the other brother gives him a look. Like, yo, just let it go.
He says to him, he's like, "Well, I've been quiet because you're back from the dead. I've never really spoken with a dead person before."
Whoa.
It's like, whoa.
I would have got pissed. And I looked at him and was like, I've never spoken to a prick before. And here you are, stepping out of line.
This next scene was hilarious, kind of, because it was just so random. They come up to the top of the mountain, and he's like, "All right, well, we got a new track. Our priests have been setting this up for a long time. Not even Kamehameha has been on it."
No. But then they were like, he's never been defeated.
Loses. Yeah,
he never loses.
And he's just like,
and then his brother even says, like, when was the last time you were on one of the sleds? I don't know. If this is still a thing that goes on, I should look this up later. That's what I'm going to do.
It's a Holua sled.
Halua sled, right? Yeah, Halua sled. It looks almost like a ladder, right? A really thick ladder, because it had all the rings on it, but you can hold and place your feet, but they slide down. Oh man, that was something to see. If there's anything to talk about with this episode for somebody who's like, "Oh, I'm not into the talk, where's the action?" You're gonna see some crazy slide that you've never seen before. This I
Like 4 guys went down, 2 guys just like broke off and started flipping off, hitting the rocks and stuff.
oh
I don't know if they died, but they're definitely
oh they
definitely
got some
definitely
broken
cooked.
bones. Yeah,
But
because and it's not even that they went down just to do the slide. They jumped into the slide. That's the wild part. Because remember, they and they jump in the air and
which
they
is
go.
great. It's like even with Kamehameha, like his not Kamehameha, Kayana, his sled was kind of like shaking and breaking a little bit, and he kind of just looked forward and just held on for dear life and hope and prayer
He
almost,
just
and just like kind of just held together and just held it all. And honestly, that was probably the best thing he could have done because he ends up beating Kamehameha
he ends up beating him. They
slightly.
slightly, but also I mean, think about it. They went off the cliff.
Yeah.
It just leads right off the cliff into the water. And if anything, he just really earned Kamehameha's respect. He was like,
Oh,
wow,
he was so hyped.
he was like, you didn't even know where we were going. You just went right off the cliff and you're here, you won. He's like, of course you're in the council. This is it. You're my brother now.
Yeah, he's like the gods have looked down on
Yeah,
you. You would join my council and your family.
you earn my respect. You got the juice now. Like, he was hyped. And I get it, because that takes some cojones to do all that.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would do that. Think about it, you don't know where it's gonna go, and then
I would probably die.
it's like a roller coaster ride off a cliff. Oh
But maybe
no.
it's a thing that they do from young, and it's like, just like a.
So he knew he was gonna go into the water, that it wasn't just gonna plateau
I
like
mean,
in a
because
field.
the thing went off like how else would it stop?
It would go down. I figured, like, if it was just the side of mountain,
But
it just slides
yeah,
out
but
and
they didn't
then
set it up
into
like
like
that. It literally was a
the
ramp
beach.
at the end.
Yeah, at first I thought it was gonna slide down onto the beach, and that was gonna be it. First to the beach from the
Mhm.
mountain. I didn't know it was gonna be first off the cliff. Whoever touched water first wins. But man, that was definitely a
Then
scene.
Kayana wants to meet with Kamanu's father again. And he's like, "Ah, man, like, the council's not gonna really just accept him like that. Like, it's gonna take time." And his own daughter's like, "Look, he wants to speak with you. Just follow him." They go into his ship, and again, this guy's salty. He's like, "Why am I on the ship with like rats eating people's
These guys
food?"
are dirty. Yeah, they sleep
Yeah,
with rats. Look at them.
he's pissed. And then Kana's like, "Well," he opens it up as all these guns, hands it to him. And I high key thought the guy was just gonna be like, "We don't need this. We don't fight with stuff like this. This is against our
Mhm.
customs." He liked it. He like pressed it. He, no, nothing was in it, but he clicked it and.
I was waiting for him to look and be like, why didn't you say this before? It's like, Badoy, of course we want these. We did it. We're the winners. I
It's
was
like,
really, and I thought that's what he was going to do when he first showed up, when he got off the boat. I figured he was going to present. He was like, oh, I'm here to help. Oh, come on. How are you going to help? You did. Oh, wow. What do you have there? And then go from that point. But
and he's
no.
like, tell the council that these are Kamehameha's red mouth weapons. And then the last scene, and we see a bunch of guys creeping in at night, silhouettes walking, and music was playing, pretty cool music. And we see them lighting something on fire. And I'm like, what is happening here? They're lighting up Kamehameha's food reserves, the ones that he talked about in the previous episode. And
Mhm.
out of the shadows, we sing Keoua.
Yeah, evil king there. Yeah, see, this is what he does. This is what he does. He burns them out. But this is also going to force the conflict. This is it.
Yeah.
It's war. The next episode has to be
Bloodbath.
all out war. Think about it, because now Khan is part of the council. He's hanging out with Kamehameha. They're cool. They're boys now. They're getting everybody together. They got the guns, the red mouths. This is it. And I think it might end pretty quick, only because they have all these guns.
That or someone rats him out. A spy finds out, and someone
Even if
tries to steal the
they
guns.
do, you have to know how to use the guns. I think that's the other part that might drag this out a little bit, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think it's going to be like, oh, wait, we got the guns here. I'm going to show you, hold it, point, shoot, because I don't think it's going to be the crew that's going to be doing all the shooting. I think these guns are to be given to the soldiers of the tribe, right?
I think
I'm
so.
sure. Though I think the only person that's going to help in this fight is Tony, because Tony has that loyalty.
Yeah, Tony and
Kayana.
John probably are gonna stay.
Well, John's staying for life. Remember when he saw his buddies? They were like, "Oh, you're gonna come back with us?" No, no, no. I found my
He's like,
place.
I'm good. Yeah, I don't want.
Yeah,
He actually looked a little like kind of sad that they were there for a second. Like he was like, oh man. But then it's like that option of leaving, but he's like, nah, I gotta stay here.
no, no. He's got it good there.
Yeah.
He likes it there. No one. He's got a good life.
But yeah, that was the episode.
That was the episode. It was entertaining. It was cool. I was really surprised by that sled whole race. Yeah, they call it the race, but it was wild. That I've never seen anything like that, and I've seen
This
a lot
episode
of
was more
things.
like reuniting calm before the storm, setting up the whole thing. So I mean, it's a needed
Yeah.
episode. It wasn't like the craziest thing, but it was good conversations, good perspectives. I'm wondering how the drama between Kayana and Namake are gonna unfold and I mean,
Hopefully,
unless that's not a big deal in this, but yeah.
yeah. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see
That or
how it
he's
all
gonna
gets.
do something in the battle to like prove himself and like exaggerate the whole thing because now he has like
Well,
I don't
what?
know.
I don't know. I no, I don't. Unless he puts himself in harm's way, like he doesn't care anymore.
Or he does something to protect Kapoy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could see that happening because he said she was a horrible warrior. Remember that whole thing? It was like, oh, I see. I don't know how you made it this far. What if he does? Yeah, he saves her and then dies, and he said, "I told you I would always protect you." You know, and that type of thing. His last words, "I protected you." And he has the chain or the necklace in his hand, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope it doesn't get to that point of Kayana finds out and it becomes this whole big side story thing. It's like, wait, you were having an affair? Taking it to that level. I wasn't even dead. No.
Meanwhile, Kamehameha has like a bunch of wives. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. So what does it matter? Look at all the ones I got. It's all right. Come on now.
Take it easy, bro.
All right, take it easy.
All right. Well,
But hey, everybody, thanks. If you made it this far, we appreciate it. We appreciate all the comments and all the insight. A lot of people putting in their insight. They're very familiar with the history, the culture. That's fantastic. And then they share their thoughts. We got Whirly constantly putting in all his thoughts on here. So thank you for that. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, liking, subscribing. We're covering other shows on the channel, sharing. Yeah, we get a lot of shares on that. Now I see
tell
it all
people
the
about the
time.
show. Get them on not just this show, but the
No,
actual
yeah,
show
on
we're
Chief of
watching. Yeah,
yeah,
just get
on the
them on.
show, Chief of War. I mean, that's it. It's a fantastic show. And the only gripe, I'm telling you, it's annoying, but the only gripe ever here is that, well, there's a lot of reading. I still hear that now, even when I'm telling people about the show. All the action, all the crazy stories, true story events, real events. Also, yeah, but I gotta read.
Maybe that's a sign that we should all be reading more.
We should all be reading more.
You read text messages
That's
all
it.
day.
I'm
All
gonna
day. You read
burn
all
all my
you read the
audiobooks. How do
news. Come
how
on.
do you do that? How can I do a virtual fire on my audio? No, but really, people need to just open up a little bit and realize there's a lot going on here. And plus, if you're into history, this is entertaining because I knew
This is
almost
so cool,
none
yeah.
of this. I knew some of Kamehameha, but I didn't know Kayana. I didn't know all the tribal wars, the
I
fighting.
think about the friends I had in college that were from Hawaii and stuff like that. Like I never really questioned anything. Like I knew there was like a lot of divisiveness and things historically, but it's like this is just such a cool thing, and I'm so glad that it's brought to light.
Yeah, I mean, for most people, they saw it as like, well, they must have just lived in harmony and peace until the pale skin came over, and then that's when the fighting started. There was a lot of fighting already happening before all of that. So it's good. It's good. But anyway, yeah, thanks again, everybody, for the support on this show. We just finished up Revival. Lawrence and I still have Dexter Resurrection that we're doing, and then we're starting the Terminal List come next week on the 27th. That's a fantastic show. Terminal List, Dark Wolf. It's a good military show. All right, everybody. We will see you next week for episode 6. Thank you. Peace.